One season, the average Little League baseball game averaged 2 hours and 48 minutes, a total of 168 minutes to complete. Assume the length of games follows the normal distribution with a standard deviation of 11. I am going to actually skip to part D. What is the completion time in which 97.5% of the games will be finished? So we're working backwards here. Here we're given the probability and we're trying to find X. So what I want to show you is the formula for X, and let's see, I had it on there and then I moved it. Okay, so here is the formula when you're wanting to find X and you're given the mean, the standard deviation, and Z. Well, we don't have Z yet. We have the probability that is associated with the Z value. The Z value here is 0.975. So the way you can look up the Z value is to go into Excel. This is one way. And do the in. So I've already put this in, but you have to make sure you do norm S inverse. Normal, standard, inverse, and it's asking for the probability. So all you have to do is put in 0.975. So this gives me my Z value. And I believe that we're going to round our Z value to 2 decimal places. So the Z score associated with 0.975 is 1.96. Now we're ready to plug in to our formula, which is right here. Let me pull that up. X equals mu plus Z times the standard deviation. So X equals mu plus Z times the standard deviation. I believe mu was 168. And standard deviation is 11. And we just found what the Z value is. So we're going to do 168 plus 1.96, which is what we just calculated, times 11, and that's going to give me my X value. And you will get 189.56. So going back to our problem, the completion time in which 97.5% of the games will be finished is 189.56. Now the rest of this you can work like we have worked in the previous video. You will calculate the Z score and it wants you to use Excel. Question 8, probably Excel, and then down here at the bottom you're going to work it like I just showed you. Look up the Z value associated with 0.60. That's your probability here, 60th percentile. Here is going to be the same thing. Here, 35th percentile. So you would go into Excel and do that norm S inverse, and the probability is 0.35. But don't forget, once you get your Z score, you have to use the formula to get X. You have to plug in the mean, Z, times the standard deviation. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. All right, question 10. We're going to go over this in the next video. I think that's pretty much all. Question 11. The first 3 parts we have gone over. This is just going to be do your Z score and use Excel to calculate that. I'll go over D and E in another video. Number 13 you should be able to work, but you're going to look in the table. So how would you look up the 70th percentile in the table? Well, you're just going to have to go in this table and find 0.70. Okay, so it's going to be somewhere in between 0.52 and 0.53. And if you want, it may allow you to look it up. You probably could just use technology. It gives you the table, but it looks like, yeah, it gives you the table, but you can use Excel. So I would recommend just using Excel on this one too, like I showed you earlier. And number 14, this is, you're going to use the Z-score and plug it into Excel. So most of these you should be able to do after watching this video.